What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka NinosCorner, man. Today, guys, we're going to talk about speaking things into existence, man, and what that means. So I started on this journey where I wanted to write a book. So I ended up writing my book, right? So I got my first book done, and so the folks who are on the podcast, you can't see me holding my book, but the guys on YouTube, you can. So the first book, guys, Can You Love Me? A Memoir and a Tribute. Basically, it's a story about me, right? It's my story. That's why it's called a memoir and a tribute. It's a tribute because it's a tribute to my mother because she was a single parent, strong woman. Raised me, as a single parent for 13 years until she married my stepfather. But yeah, man, I'm a big hip hop fan. You guys know that. And so hip hop different things in hip hop kind of helped raise me, right? They kind of help mold me. So I look at like Scarface has never seen a man cry, right? I never understood why I never saw a man cry really until I listened to Scarface's song. It all started to make sense, You grew up in the South, you grew up with tough guys around you, your grandfather's tough, your uncles are tough, so you never see them cry unless something is totally wrong. I never saw my grandfather cry a day in my life until, I take that back. I seen him cry twice in my life. One time was because of me, which is in the book, and how I was treated. And another time was when I had to leave Shreveport, Louisiana, and go to Texas. So, but other than that, never saw him cry. But he was like the man's man, the most. He was a man's man, right? But in saying that, guys, hip hop is totally infused in this book. So each chapter of this book, each chapter of this book is a hip hop song that kind of represents that time in my life. And then each subchapter is also a song. So it totals up between the chapters and the subchapters. There's 7 chapters and like 25 subchapters, so 32 songs in total. So those songs kind of make up the soundtrack to my life, and I have it like at the end of the book. So different songs were great that kind of fit my book. And the title of my book, Can You Love Me, is a song by one of my favorite artists of all time, and it's Mac from No Limit Records, who's currently locked up right now. But the song is called Can You Love Me off the World War III album. One of my favorite songs. I play it a lot. My family gets tired of me playing it. I love the song. It's just, the lyrics are so real. And also Mac had a song called Father's Day that was on that same album. And I put it in the book too. It's, I think it's chapter 6 or chapter 4, one of the two. But anyways, Father's Day is another song in this book. And so, Mac's one of my favorite artists. So he's locked up, and I was, talking things over with my brother, Jay, and I was like, man, I want to get this book to Mac, but he's locked up. So I went to Mac's fan page, hit him up on Facebook, hit him up on his internet, on his webpage, and his mother emailed me back literally. Like, I just had to start at like 10:30 at night. I emailed his fan page at like 10:30 that night, and his mom hit me back 15 minutes later and was like, here's his JPay information. If you guys don't know about JPay, and you got homeboys that's locked up, and you don't know about JPay, then you really don't got no homeboys. You ain't a homeboy to your homeboys, right? So, I know about JPay. I had a couple homeboys that was locked up, and I used to, like send some commissary to him through JPay. But his mother gave me his JPay information. And so I wrote him and basically told him how much his music inspired me and how much I thought that his music kind of brought out the best of me when I was writing this book. And I told him that the title of the book is basically, named after one of his songs, and a chapter of mine is named after one of his songs too. And so about 3 or 4 weeks later, I get a call, and it's from a 504 number from New Orleans. And I didn't know who it was. I thought it was like my homeboy Cash, because I talked to him a lot. Sometimes he changes his phone number. But I was like, man, who is this? And I didn't get a chance to answer the phone, so I heard the voicemail, and I said, it can't be my boy, because he never leaves voicemail, so he just texted me. And it's Mac's wife, and she calls and goes, yo, my husband got your email. He totally loved it. He wanted me to call you immediately, but it was just so late. I didn't want to call you so late, so she called me like the next morning, and I called her that afternoon to, like to talk to her, and she was happy that I called. I was so happy that, like I could talk to her. And she told me how Mac was inspired by the message I sent him about how he inspired me. And I was just like, oh man, this is Mac, right? It's one of my favorite guys, like when it comes to rapping. He is like the Nas of the whole state of Louisiana. Soulja Slim was like our Pac, but Mac is like our Nas. He's like the most lyrical guy from the region, from the state. You know what I'm saying? So it was awesome to hear that. So we talked. She sent me his information so that I can send him some books. So I ended up sending Mac like 10 books. And so lo and behold, that was like wintertime, guys. It had to have been like January, like December, January. But lo and behold, guys, I get this email from JPay. And I was like, it's got to be Mac, because nobody else that I know is locked up anymore. It's got to be him. But I was like, who got locked up? Because he, like, of course, wouldn't email me. So I opened up the email, and it's Mac. And he said, Nicholas, the book was brilliant, brother. And I was like, what? That was Mac. So, I email him back, and I tell him, hey, man, appreciate it. Love it, man. Like, you don't understand how much that means to me coming from you. You know what I'm saying? So talked to him about that, and told him my plans to make this a book. I'm sorry, make this a movie. It's already a book. All right, so he emails me back and was like, man, I can't wait to see it, man. It was an awesome book. I felt like I was from your city. I know some of my homeboys who are locked up with me that are from Shreveport, and it made me feel like I was them for a little bit. And your book pretty much brought some emotion out, and I loved it. Man, do you know how excited I was to have like one of my rap idols email me? That was Mac, man, the camouflage assassin, man. Shell Shock, World War III, one of my favorite artists of all time. So man, speak things into existence. I made this book because I wanted it to get into the hands of people that I wanted to get into the hands of. Like, I want this to get into the hands of Mac. I want him to be able to read this and understand that, your music touches people. I want this to get to Master P one day to understand that, hey, man, your music touched me. Hey, Bum B, I want him to get this book. With him being a professor at Rice University, maybe he can use this book to, teach things in his class. Who knows? But hip hop is infused in it. I want Talib Kweli to get this book. I want Mos Def to get this book. I want The Game to get this book. You know what I'm saying? I want Jay-Z to get this book. I want Beanie Siegel. I want Nas to get this book. I want Cormega to get this book. One of my favorites also. So, yeah, I want the Diplomats to get this book. They're in the book. I want MC8, who is amazing. I want Scarface to get this book, man. Like, I want the Dub Shack. I want Warren G. I want Snoop to get, I want Dre to get this book. But yeah, man, it was amazing to actually get that email from Mac, man. I was ecstatic. So speak things into existence, man. Like, I wanted this to get out there. I wanted this to get to the masses. The book ended up reaching 5-time #1 on Amazon. So 3-time bestseller new release and 2-time bestseller in a category. So 5-time #1 bestseller. I couldn't be more ecstatic, but to get that information on top of that. So I am writing the movie script for this, guys, and I'm about halfway done with it. I gave myself a date to like June to get this done, like mid-June, but it'll probably take me to August or so. But man, it's coming along so great, and I can't wait to share with you guys. And I hope somebody picks this up, man. Not hopes. Somebody's gonna pick this book. Somebody's gonna pick this movie up. I can't wait for somebody to pick this up so I can share the story with you guys, man. I always feel like, our stories. When I say our stories, the Black youth, my culture. We don't really do a good job of putting our stuff on paper so that people can actually make stories out of this. Well, I want to make a story out of this, so that's my whole thing, is to make a story out of this. So hopefully this works out great, man, and it's gonna work out great, and I can't wait to share it with you guys, man. So on that note, guys, let's take a small commercial break, and I see you on the other end. All right, guys, we're back. So we talked about my first book, man, Can You Love Me? A Memoir and a Tribute, 5-time #1 bestseller on Amazon, guys. My second book, which, I'm sorry, podcast folks, you can't see the book, but if you go to the podcast, you go to NinosCorner on YouTube. You can catch all the podcasts too on YouTube. But the second book, I'm holding up, guys. So it's Battles Blueprint: Five Self Battles to Defeat for Success by none other than me. And in my first book, I had like these battles blueprints, which are kind of things that I've learned throughout the way from people around me. You know, I used to work with, well, not used to, I still work with a bunch of high ranking officials in the military. You know, you guys know I'm active duty military. Um, so I'm in the Air Force. So I work with 2-star and 3-star, and I've worked with 4-star generals. So just taking some of the things that I've learned from them, and also colonels, lieutenant colonels, and some of the best leaders I've seen were at the major level. You know, so just a quick story. One of my favorite leaders that I ever had was, the guy's name is Colonel Frazier now, but at the time he was Major Frazier, Major Chop Frazier. What a hell of a leader he was, man. First person to believe in me, and some of the things that he would tell me are still ingrained and instilled in me today. So some of those sayings that I use, I've kind of learned from him, and like other people that have helped me lead. Some of the generals that I've worked for, some of the CEOs, some Fortune 500 companies, or VPs. You know, like when you come talk to them, or they come talk to you and you brief them and they give you like some knowledge. You know, other people just in different fields that are just amazing at what they do, and not just about leadership, but just about work in general. So I was able to make a lot of music when I was in California, and so this is, you know, like a quick story. But my homeboy Cash, he came out and actually stayed with me for like a month in LA, and we're doing a lot of music. So uh, one of his really good friends is Chuck English from the Cool Kids, so I was able to be in the studio with Chuck English for a while. And so when you see somebody who's that successful at their craft and is able to, uh, you can see how they formulate what they do. You can take that and translate that to any field. It doesn't have to be music. It could be the books that we have here, right? It could be anything. But when you see like the dedication that those guys who are professionals at their job do, it's truly amazing. I went to school at, you know, Texas, so you know, I was the football player's RA. So which is a resident assistant. So basically, I was like the dorm guy, but we were all cool. I was a frat boy. They were football players. We were all doing the same thing. So, you know, we had a great understanding that I'm never going to penalize them for anything crazy. Like none of my guys got in trouble, but I was a cool RA. But I was able to see how much work they put into themselves to be great, and so you can translate that to any field. So yeah, you know, I've been blessed to be around a bunch of people who are very successful, and you know, I love to see that, and I love to take some of the things that I have learned from them, and I input them into my first book as battles blueprints within the Can You Love Me book. So I stripped out those battles blueprints and made a separate book and kind of expanded upon, um, you know, all the things that I've seen and done using these blueprints. And so it's picked up very well. The first book I had, like I told you guys, went 5 times #1 on Amazon. This one went 7 times #1. So I was even more ecstatic. I sold a bunch of copies. Retail stores have picked this up. Um, Schools have picked this up. I've sold over 50 or so to schools on one set, another 25 to another school. I just had a friend of mine who I'm helping her do some work. She purchased 25 copies to hand out when she goes out to do some speaking engagements and talk to students. I mean, I've done very well with this book. So I appreciate everybody who has bought the book, but I'm just more appreciative that knowledge is getting into other people's hands, and things that I've learned. Like if I have done something that has perhaps set me back, let's say like a week or two or a month or 2 months on something, if I can put some, some light into a situation to help somebody not make the same mistakes that I did, and it's on paper, then it's great, right? So, that's what that's for. It's just helping people and letting people know that you don't have to do things a certain way to be successful. There's so many ways that you can do things to be a successful person. So yeah, both books, guys, are on audiobook. So I know a lot of people don't like to read anymore. I'm the same way. I love to listen to audiobooks while I'm driving. It's so calming and so soothing. So both of these books are on audiobook. The first book, Can You Love Me, was done by a good friend of mine, Drama Simpson. he really did that with the book. I didn't want to audio, like I didn't want to do the audio text myself because I am so busy. I I didn't have time, but Drama's voice was perfect for the book, and I can see him possibly like actually narrating this book for me uh, when I make it a movie. So not only did I, hire him to do the book for the narration, but I can definitely see him helping me with the movie, man. So Drama, you the dude, man. And Philip Batley, um, he's from the UK. He did the like the narration for the second book. So I mean, things are both of them came out really well, guys. I'm just ecstatic about it. But I have a third book coming out, and it's going to be coming out here in the next month, probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. But I'm not going to spill the beans on this one. This is like a very personal book, but you guys are going to love it. This one's going to be something that's going to help a lot of people, I think. And I don't want to spill the beans on it, but it's going to be good. So I will give you more information on that when it comes along. But man, thank you guys for the support, man. I truly, truly appreciate it. But yeah, the Mac story, guys, awesome. I'm so happy to have touched Mac through my text, like he's touched me through his words when he raps. So I mean, that was a great feeling. And the second book, guys, the like the Battles Blueprint book, man, it's touched a bunch of people's lives, and I've had a bunch of people tell me that they really enjoyed the book and they were able to glean some success from this. And I mean, that's all you want, man. You just want to help save lives, right? And if I can help save a kid's life who didn't have the opportunity to have text like this in front of them when they were growing up, then that's what it's here for, man. So I appreciate you guys for listening to me today, man. Kind of a heartfelt. I didn't want to get into sports or politics today or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to speak from the heart, man. So we all can, just come together and do some great things, man. So on that note, guys, guys know how I always end it. You see the do you on the shirt, man. Podcast guys, you can't see the do you, but go to YouTube and look up NinosCorner. Do you guys, D, don't be afraid to fail. O, outgrow your environment. You understand your brilliance, man. Understand your brilliance. Everybody's great at something. So on that note, guys, I am out. NinosCorner is out. I love you guys. Salute. We'll talk again tomorrow, and I'm at the bow.